Have you ever used one of those large language models? You know, the AI that helps you write things or gives you quick answers. It's pretty amazing what they can do straight away.
Oh, absolutely. They have this huge general knowledge base.
Right. But here's a thought I keep coming back to. What if you could take that powerful AI brain and like really tune it, make it understand your specific business, your data, the unique way you do things, go beyond just general stuff.
That's a really powerful concept, isn't it? Taking something so broadly intelligent and sharpening it, making
Yeah.
it, well, perfectly suited for one particular job, that's where AI gets really bespoke.
Exactly. And, well, that's what we want to unpack in this deep dive. Today, our mission is basically to walk you through how you actually do that fine-tuning, specifically using Snowflake.
Yeah, we're going to look at a sort of step-by-step pipeline,
Hmm.
how you can transform that general AI into, let's say, a specialized expert for your needs. We'll get into the how and, importantly, the why.
We want to explore the big picture, how you take those pre-trained models and feed them your own proprietary knowledge.
Right. So instead of generic answers, you get responses that are perfectly on brand, super accurate for your context. You'll see the actual steps, the tech involved.
And why this kind of customization is becoming, well, pretty crucial for real-world applications now.
It really is across so many areas.
Okay, so let's get into it. Where do we start? I guess with the basics, like what the model can do before we customize it.
Good starting point. That's called transfer learning. It's essentially using the LLM right out of the box. No custom training yet.
Okay.
Think of it this way. The model's already done its homework, learned from, tons of internet data. Transfer learning just leverages that existing knowledge.
Right.
So, for example, using something like Snowflake Cortex, you could just type in a SQL command like select snowflake.cortex.complete. Your order is as next word.
Ah,
And you'd probably get back something sensible like confirmed. It's immediately useful for simple tasks because of that general training.
so that's the basic AI assistant we might already know. It's
Yeah.
helpful, yeah, and fast. But like you said, it doesn't know my company's return policy or our specific product names or, the exact phrasing we use with customers.
Exactly. It's smart, no doubt, but
Mhm.
it's not your kind of smart. It doesn't have your specific context.
So how do we give it that context? How do we specialize it?
Well, that brings us nicely to step one in really customizing it,
Yeah.
preparing your custom data for the fine-tuning process.
Okay, the data prep.
This is absolutely key. If you want the LLM to act like, say, your best customer support agent, you need to feed it examples of how your agents respond.
Right, because otherwise how would it know?
Precisely. Think about a support scenario. You need the AI to know your specific brand voice, your policies. This custom data set is how you teach it.
So this is where we start showing the AI our world, basically. We collect examples.
Exactly. You'd gather pairs of, say, chat input and chat response from your support logs. Like the input might be, how can I track my order?
And the response.
And the response would be your company's specific answer. Maybe something like, you can track your order using the link we emailed you with the subject, your order has shipped. Very specific.
I see. So it's not just any answer, it's the answer you want it to give. This is teaching it your rules, your language.
You got it.
Yeah.
And technically, you'd often use Snowflake SQL for this preparation step. You transform those chat input columns into a prompt column and the chat response into a completion column.
Okay.
Maybe in a table you call, I don't know, fine-tuned data set. You're structuring your knowledge so the AI can learn effectively. It's like organizing your notes before an exam.
Makes sense. Clean data in, better results out. So once we've got this beautiful curated data set in Snowflake, what's next? Does the fine-tuning happen right there?
Usually no.
Yep.
The next step, step two, is typically exporting that prepared data set. You move it somewhere the actual fine-tuning computation can happen, which often means cloud storage.
Ah, okay. So we package it up and send it off.
Pretty much. And again, Snowflake SQL is great here. You'd use the copy into command,
Yeah.
something like copy into at my 9's 3-stage fine-tuned data.json.
S3 being Amazon's cloud storage, right? So you're putting the data file there.
Exactly. At my 3-stage would be your secure connection to that S3 bucket.
Right.
And notice the format JSON. That's really common.
Okay.
Each record in that JSON file would look something like prompt, how can I track my order? Completion. You can track your order using the link.
Yeah.
Just those prompt completion pairs we talked about.
Got it. So we've prepped the data, structured it, and now we've exported it as this JSON file, ready for the AI's training school, so to speak.
That's a good analogy.
All right.
Which leads us directly to step 3, the actual fine-tuning, usually using an external LLM service.
This is where the magic happens.
This is where the learning happens, yeah. The LLM takes your specific data file and adjusts its internal workings, its statistical patterns, to align with your examples. It internalizes your knowledge.
And how do we kick that off? What tools are involved here?
Often, you'll use something like Snowpark Python. It lets you write Python code that orchestrates these tasks, interacting with Snowflake and external services.
Okay.
So you'd use Snowpark Python to call an external LLMs API, maybe OpenAI's, for instance.
Yeah.
There'd be a function call, perhaps something like openai.finetune.create.
Well, then you tell it which file to use.
Exactly. You'd specify the training file pointing to that JSON file you put in S3, and also what base model you want to fine-tune, like maybe GPT 3.5 Turbo.
So you're saying take this base model, read this specific training data, and create a new fine-tuned version.
Precisely. This is the AI's intensive study session, where it really absorbs your brand voice, your policies, your specific ways of answering. It becomes a specialized version of itself.
Okay, so the model has been fine-tuned. It's learned our stuff. How do we actually use it now? How do we know it worked?
Right. Step 4, querying the fine-tuned model. You need to test it, interact with it.
Makes sense. See if the training stuck.
Yeah. And again, you'd likely use Snowpark Python and the same external LLM API you use for tuning. But this time, when you make a call, maybe using something like openai.chatcompletion.create, you specify the unique ID of your fine-tuned model, not the generic base model.
Ah, so you're calling your custom version now.
Exactly. And then you pass in your test prompt, your message. So you might ask it, how do I return a damaged product?
And hopefully.
Hopefully, instead of a generic web answer, you get back something reflecting your training data. The example given in the source material is great here. The prompt, how do I return a damaged product, resulted in the fine-tuned model saying, our return policy allows returns within 30 days of purchase.
I see. So it learned the policy detail from the examples we fed it. It's not just guessing, it's recalling the specific information it was trained on.
Precisely. That's your custom AI in action, delivering those context-aware, accurate answers based on your knowledge base.
That's really cool. But what happens when things change? Like our return policy updates next quarter, or we add new products, or our support team refines how they answer certain questions? Do we have to manually go through all those steps again? Prep, export, fine-tune? Seems like a lot of work to keep it current.
That is a fantastic point. Keeping the model relevant is critical, right? A model trained 6 months ago might give outdated info.
Yeah.
And doing it manually over and over, yeah, that's not sustainable.
So there must be a better way.
There is. And that brings us to step 5, which is optional, but honestly highly recommended for any real-world use, automating the pipeline.
Automating the whole thing, from new data coming in to the model getting updated.
Exactly. Making it a continuous learning loop so the AI stays fresh without you needing to manually trigger every step each time.
Okay, how does that work? What Snowflake features enable that?
This is where Snowflake Streams and Tasks really shine.
Yeah.
Think of a stream on your source data table like your customer support chats table. The stream acts like a changelog. It automatically keeps track of any new rows or any rows that get updated in that table. It knows exactly what's changed since the last time you checked.
Ah, so it flags the new information.
Precisely. You'd create it simply with something like create or replace stream chat data stream on table customer support chats.
Okay, got the stream. Then what?
Then you use a task. A Snowflake task is like a scheduled job. You can tell it to run on a schedule, say, once a day.
Like a cron job.
Exactly like a cron job. You might set it up with create or replace task auto-export fine-tune data and give it a schedule, like schedule using cron 00 UTC for midnight UTC daily.
And what does the task do?
The task's job would be to wake up, check the chat data stream for any new changes, where metadata's update, true, grab only that new data, format it, and run that copy into command to export just the new fine-tuning examples to S3.
Wow, okay, so it automatically grabs the latest updates, packages them up, and sends them off for retraining.
Well, it sends them to the staging area. You'd likely have another part of the automated process, maybe triggered by that file landing in S3, that kicks off the actual fine-tune.create API call. But yes, the core idea is automating that data extraction and export based on changes.
That makes a huge difference. It means the AI is constantly learning from the latest interactions, the newest policies, without someone having to babysit the process constantly.
Absolutely. It turns it from a static point-in-time model into a dynamic, continuously improving assistant. That's how you make it truly scalable and maintainable for a business. It keeps the AI relevant.
That automation piece feels crucial for making this practical long term.
It really is. Otherwise, you risk the model's knowledge slowly drifting out of date.
Okay, so let's recap a bit for everyone listening. We've essentially walked through this five-step pipeline, starting with just using the base model transfer learning, then prepping your specific data in Snowflake SQL.
Right, getting those prompt and completion pairs ready.
Then exporting that data securely, maybe to S3. Then the core step, using Snowpark Python and external APIs to actually fine-tune the model on your data.
Where it learns your stuff.
Yeah, and then querying that custom model to get specific answers. And finally, the really powerful part, automating that whole cycle with streams and tasks so it stays up to date.
You've got it. It gives you a clear path for creating AI that genuinely understands your world, not just the general internet.
And the so what here feels pretty significant. This isn't just, cool tech for tech's sake. It's about unlocking a new level of precision, of personalization in AI.
Absolutely. Think about the impact. Customer support that sounds exactly like your brand and knows your policies instantly. Legal analysis that understands your firm's specific history and approach. Scientific research where the AI gets your niche terminology. Even creative writing that sticks to a very specific style guide.
It's about taking that broad intelligence and making it deeply actionably relevant to your specific needs.
Exactly. Turning generic smarts into valuable, bespoke intelligence.
Which leads me to a final thought, something for you to ponder. We've seen how fine-tuning lets models excel in specific areas like customer service. But where else could this go? Considering this power to create hyper-specialized AI that learns your unique rules, your knowledge, what other niche industries or applications could be totally transformed by this, beyond the examples we've hit today?
That's a big question.
Yeah, and what new questions does this raise about AI's role? What happens when every organization has its own highly customized, deeply knowledgeable AI assistant? What does that future look like?